amazing true story. From the book of Nehemiah, Chapter 1.
Nehemiah released a long sigh of relief as he approached his rooms.
Time for a break.
He enjoyed his position as cupbearer to the Persian king Artaxerxes, but the job required him to be cheerful and upbeat all the time as he advised the king. He also had to remain alert to make sure no one poisoned his food or drink. As Nehemiah entered his rooms, though, he discovered several dusty, travel-worn visitors waiting for him.
Hanani, brother,
Nehemiah embraced his brother Hanani and turned to the other men.
tell me about Judah. How are the Jews there? What about Jerusalem?
Many years before, God's people had been taken captive because so many of them continued to turn away from the one true God. After about 70 years, some Jews were returned to their homeland, but Nehemiah knew that they had a difficult time. Hanani shook his head.
Brother, you've lived here in Persia all your life. Have you ever even seen Jerusalem? No, but it's still where God's temple stands. It's still our home.
The men with Hanani exchanged glances.
Jerusalem is, how can I put this?
Not good.
Yeah, not good. How do you mean? Brace yourself, brother. This is hard news. The people who've returned to Judah are having a really hard time. Yeah, they're, what's the word?
Ashamed.
That's right, they're ashamed of the city. But why? The wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates have been burned with fire. It's that bad. Oh yeah, what's the best way to say this?
We've seen it with our own eyes.
Yeah, that.
Nehemiah took a deep breath, trying to control his emotions.
You've had a long journey. Let me arrange for food and a place to sleep.
But as Hanani and the other men were sleeping, Nehemiah sat down and wept.
Judah is part of the land God gave his people. Jerusalem is God's city. Something has to change. Someone has to do something.
For several days, Nehemiah brought food and drink to the king as usual, forcing himself to smile, but he could think of nothing other than Jerusalem and its broken walls. He went to his room and tried to eat, but he was too sad to be hungry.
What can I do? What can anyone do?
As Nehemiah waited in the silence, exhausted, he realized that there was one place he could go to for help. He slipped out onto the balcony and stared out at the starry night over the city of Susa.
Lord, you are the God of heaven. You are a great and wonderful God. You keep the covenant you made with those who love you and obey your commandments. You show them your love.
Just speaking this truth about God made Nehemiah feel stronger. He raised his voice, crying out to God.
See how your people are suffering. Please listen to me. I'm praying to you day and night for the people of Israel. We Israelites have committed sins against you. We haven't obeyed the rules and laws you gave your servant Moses.
Nehemiah had studied God's word. As he prayed, God's promise came flooding back to him.
Remember what you told Moses. You said, if you people are not faithful, I will scatter you among the nations. But if you return to me, I will bring you back. If you obey my commands, I will gather you together again. I will bring you to the special place where I have chosen to put my name.
Nehemiah felt hope returning with every word.
Lord, they are your people. They serve you. You used your great strength and mighty hand to set them free from Egypt. Listen to the prayers of all of us. We take delight in bringing honor to your name.
Nehemiah was encouraged. His circumstances hadn't changed, but he knew now that God was listening. And the more he talked to God, the more Nehemiah was sure what needed to be done.
Please, God, give me success today when I bring my request to King Artaxerxes.
Rising, Nehemiah returned inside. God had made it perfectly clear. Someone needed to act.
I'll ask the king to let me go to Jerusalem.
And that someone was Nehemiah. It was a huge move, but Nehemiah was confident that God had called him and would help him every step of the way.